Assalamu alaikum bil jamai and good afternoon. Thank you so much for allowing me some time to talk with you today. As Mustafa said, my name is Jolene Jones, and I am Director of the Library Assessment at the University of Kentucky in the United States. If you would like to download this presentation along with the text that I'm saying, it's available at the link at the bottom of this slide, as well as in the next one at works.bpress.com/Jolene/51. Again, that link is works.bpress.com/Jolene/51. For some context, here is where I'm speaking to you from. The state in blue on the map of the US is Kentucky, and the city I'm in, called Lexington, is the yellow dot. Kentucky is well known for its thoroughbred racehorses, mountains, and beautiful scenery. The building that you see is the library I work in, named the William T. Young Library, in honor of a local businessman who donated the funds to build it. The University of Kentucky is the largest university in the state and has approximately 33,000 undergraduate students and 8,000 graduate students. We have 7 library locations across our campus. Since I'm here to talk to you about LibQUAL, let me tell you a little bit about it and about how we have used it at UK. This survey was originally called ServQual, which was edited and redeveloped into LibQual in 2001. The survey is really designed for academic libraries. UK libraries first ran LibQual in 2001, the first year it was available in this new form, and has run it 7 times since then. We currently run the survey every 4 years, with its last implementation in 2020. We will run it again in 2024. Why would you want to use LibQual? LibQual asks your users about their experiences in your libraries. They can tell you where you are succeeding and where your services need improvement. You can use it to assess whether your library services are meeting user expectations and develop services that better meet those expectations. You can compare your library's performance with that of peer institutions who have also run LibQual. Let me begin by describing the design of the LibQual survey. LibQual seeks user input in 3 areas of library service quality that it calls core areas. The first is affective service or customer service, meaning, are your employees courteous, empathetic, and responsive to your users? Second, information control, or the ability of the user to access information. So, how easy is it to access? How convenient? And library is place, or the user's feelings about the library's buildings and how they can use them. In other words, space assessment. There are a total of 22 items that are assessed by this instrument. Here are some examples of items that LibQUAL asks in each of the three core areas. In the area of affective service, employees who are consistently courteous, employees who have the knowledge to answer user questions, and dependability in handling users' service problems. In the area of information control, items are making electronic resources accessible from my home or office, a library website enabling me to locate information on my own, and print and/or electronic journal collections I require for my work. The third core area, library's place, asks items like library space that inspires study and learning, a comfortable and inviting location, and community space for group learning and group study. For most academic libraries, the area of information control is frequently the lowest scoring of the core areas, with library as place scoring the highest. Three other areas that LibQUAL asks users about are user general satisfaction, information literacy outcomes that are based on the ACRL information literacy framework, and then there's a chance for libraries to add 5 additional questions if you wish. Here are some examples of these kinds of items. In general satisfaction, in general, I'm satisfied with the way in which I'm treated at the library, and how would you rate the overall quality of service provided by the library? Information literacy outcomes include the library aids my advancement in my academic discipline or work. The library helps me distinguish between trustworthy and untrustworthy information. And 2 of the examples that UK has used as library selected questions are: the library assists me in achieving academic success, and ease of use of electronic resources. Finally, LibQUAL asks users how often they use the library, several demographic questions about themselves, including which specific library locations they use, and it also offers a space for comments about the libraries. Each question asks users to gauge their minimum baseline service level, desired service level, and the actual level they perceive or experience in your library. And each question has an NA, or not applicable, option. The design of the survey questions may make it difficult for users to answer them and may not be optimized for responding on mobile devices or phones. There are 2 versions of the survey: a regular one and a light version, which asks fewer questions per user and randomizes the questions each user receives. So, if you decide you want to use the survey, what are the steps to implementing it? In order to implement LibQUAL, these are the basic steps. First, contact ARL. Let them know you're interested in running LibQUAL and pay for the use of the survey. Second, determine which version of the survey you want to use. Regular, which takes about 10 minutes per user to complete, or the light version, which takes about 5 minutes. Third, if you would like to, decide what 5 library selected questions you want to use. If you do use them, you may want to use the same or similar questions over several years so that you can compare the responses. Fourth, you can customize the survey with the research disciplines and affiliations of user groups, such as undergraduate, graduate students, etc., as well as the name of library branches. Fifth, you determine the dates that you want to run the survey. Is there a time in the year that would be best for your users? And how long should the survey be available? Next, you will officially open the survey or start the survey in the LibQUAL dashboard so that you can receive responses. You will want to publicize or market the survey. At UK, we use posters like the one at the bottom of the slide in signage around campus, digital display boards. We send out an email to everyone on campus and put brief articles in the weekly campus newsletter. These should explain why you're doing the survey and how they can access it. Close the survey on the date you decided in the dashboard. About 2 weeks later, you should receive results from ARL via email. You'll receive the data files as well as a PDF of their statistical analysis of your results. Finally, review this data to see who responded, what they think about the libraries, what items should be celebrated, and what steps taken to improve, and possibly compare your data to other institutions where LibQUAL has been used. Now for the most exciting part. What does LibQUAL actually tell you about your users and your services? As I said, you'll receive the raw data from ARL that you can analyze using SPSS. The report that ARL sends contains lots of data and charts, so you may not want or even need to do that. First, I'll show you just a few of the charts and tables that ARL provides, and then some that I've made. Here's a table of the age of our respondents. Since we have so many undergraduate students, it's not surprising that so many of our respondents were between 18 and 22 years old. This table shows which libraries the users selected that they use the most frequently. These radar charts are frequently used by libraries who use LibQUAL to quickly describe the results based on responses to each of the core questions: affective service, information control, and library as place. The two colors that are the most meaningful in the chart are the red and green areas. The red areas are where users reported that the libraries were not meeting their minimum expectations. As I said, most academic libraries have the lowest scores in the area of information control. On the other hand, the green areas are where the users reported that the libraries are exceeding their desired expectations. You will also receive a lot of tables that look like this, where each core item is listed at the left with the mean scores and count of respondents listed at the right. For UK libraries, the number I most frequently use from these tables is the adequacy mean score, circled in blue, which is the degree to which UK libraries is exceeding the minimum mean score. In other words, it's the difference between the minimum mean and the perceived mean scores. Scores that are shown in red are where UK libraries is not meeting the minimum mean value, or where we're not meeting users' minimum expectations. Scores in green are those where UK libraries is exceeding the desired mean value. These red and green values correspond to the radar chart I showed you on the last slide. I use the LibQUAL data to write several reports, which include a lot of charts and graphs. Here are some examples. The first is the most frequently used library by user group. Here, graduate students. The second is faculty member responses, where UK library exceeds in green, meets in blue, or does not meet in red faculty expectations. Other visualizations that I create using this data compare specific item numbers over time, as you can see on this slide. I've used these charts both in our annual administrative unit assessment reports and for our university accreditation. The first chart is for a single item from the survey, Information Literacy Outcome Question 4, about libraries assisting users in determining the trustworthiness of information by user group by survey year. I created the second chart on the slide for our 2023 university accreditation. It shows how I used LibQUAL data to demonstrate that our users believe that the libraries provide valuable services. This chart clearly shows that their satisfaction with these services has increased over time. I use LibQUAL data frequently to demonstrate the success our library has in providing spectacular customer service, adequate access to information, and safe, welcoming, and useful library spaces. I've also tried to create a visualization of the impact that interventions could make. By graphing the adequacy mean score by the desired mean score, I demonstrate that the items circled in blue are those that are highly desired, but that UK is not meeting user expectations. In other words, these are the items that we should prioritize to make the most user impact. Because my library administration is always looking for comments from our users, I create a comment slicer tool in Microsoft Excel. The way this works is you can select comments that you want to see by user group or college affiliation, the location the user most frequently uses, or the topic of the comment. Then only those comments will display. This is an easy way for our administration to review the many comments that we receive. This graphic was created by UK Libraries' marketing department to demonstrate our 2020 LibQUAL results. I won't read you all the things that this says, but it explains what the survey was, our response rate, and then some very basic findings. From undergraduates and graduate students, UK Libraries meets or exceeds all of their expectations. This also shows some quotes from the comments and some of the findings where we excel and where we can improve. This slide is taken from the presentation I gave to the employees at UK Libraries, comparing our last implementation of LibQUAL in 2020 to the results from the survey before it in 2017. One way UK Libraries uses our LibQUAL data is to make changes. The results from 2017 indicated that we needed to subscribe to more electronic journals, help users be more self-sufficient, and to make some improvements to our physical spaces and our website. Because scores in all four of these areas rose when comparing the 2017 results to the 2020 results, we can claim that we were successful in the interventions that we did in these areas. Every time I run a survey, I use the data to celebrate our successes and to plan areas that need improvement. We use the results in actionable ways. What we call our LibQUAL action plan for 2020 addressed some of the areas that our users expressed dissatisfaction in. Where scores that were below the minimum levels, so those shown in this presentation in red, or where there were user comments requesting a service or a change in service. Then in our 2024 LibQUAL survey, we'll see if the scores on these items change in any way. At the presentation I gave about our 2020 results, I made sure to include celebration of our many successes. Let me tell you about some of the interventions that we've done. The LibQUAL action plan that I mentioned contains 8 items that were identified from the results that we could actually do something about. One item was that many users said the library website was difficult to use. So the libraries hired a consulting firm to redevelop the website, which was launched in August 2020. Another item that received lower scores was in accessing electronic journals. Our previous process was to ask users to sign in multiple times before they could access a journal or article. So the requirements were changed by our central UK Information Technology Department to allow users to sign in once to authenticate. Once your results have been analyzed by ARL, you will have access to the LibQUAL data repository. This data repository stores the reports that have been created for each year you have run LibQUAL, along with summaries, data files, and comments files. It also contains the data files of any other institutions that have implemented LibQUAL in the same calendar year that you ran LibQUAL. The slide shows the other institutions who used LibQUAL in 2020, but the repository also contains all libraries' data in all the other years UK Libraries has used LibQUAL. You can select the year of implementation in the green box on this slide to see the other institutions. And you can compare your results against your consortial members' data who implemented in the same year in the blue box on this slide. The UK Libraries assessment plan depends upon us continuously assessing how the library is doing. Since LibQual allows for so little customization, I created and run a different survey at UK called the Library Satisfaction Survey. I run each of these surveys every 4 years, with 2 years between either of the surveys. So I ran the library satisfaction in 2022. We'll run LibQual in 2024, and then the library satisfaction survey again in 2026. If you're interested, you can find more about this library satisfaction survey from my research profile at the BPress website. I hope this has been helpful to you all. Shukran. Thank you. This slide shows my email address and the link to all of my research on my BPress page. Please feel free to email me at any time at jolene.jones@uky.edu. Mustafa has the files of this presentation with the speaker notes, as well as a copy of the 2020 LibQual report I wrote. Both of these are also available on the BPress site as well. You're always welcome to come and visit me if you visit the United States. Thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great rest of the conference.